Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to discuss with you my reading plans for June. June means summer reading is in full swing, and it is such a fun time to be a reader. I think of all of the summer reading challenges at your local libraries and signing up for those. Kids are out of school, people are going on vacation, picking out beach reads. It is such a fun time to pick books to read because there's so many that are out there, new releases, backlist books, and I'm just really excited for June and to see what I get to. Now, for my TBRs, I typically, because I'm a mood reader, I don't stick with them 100%, but I do use them kind of as a guide. And the other day, I stumbled across this Instagram post that talked about how your TBR can be a menu. So you can use it to choose a book that you're in the mood for. And that just really resonated with me. So with my monthly TBR videos, that's very much what it is. I'm kind of setting the course for my month ahead, and hopefully I get to at least some of the books. And I have been pretty good in the past this year to get to several of the books on my TBR, but I'm not going to get to every single book, and I'm okay with that. So that's how I view my TBR. So before I get to my TBR, I want to tell you what my reading plans are for this month. So I mentioned in the beginning of the video that June signifies to me the start of summer reading programs at local libraries. Now, I know depending on when school gets out, some summer reading programs do start in May, but where I live, kids get out in June, and growing up, that was the same. So I always associate June with signing up for my local library's summer reading program. So that is my plan. The details have not been announced just yet, but I think it starts in mid-June. I think June 16th and runs through the end of August. So I will do that. Now, our summer reading program for adults, at least, you don't get a prize for participating, but just a reminder that even if you don't get anything out of participating, by participating in events at your local library, it shows interest, and it can be used for numbers in regards to receiving funding and all of that kind of stuff. So I always encourage everyone to participate, even if you don't finish the summer reading challenge, even if you don't get anything out of it, but just signing up is really important for local libraries. So if you are not planning on joining your local library's summer reading challenge, I would suggest that you do that because it is a lot of fun. And if you have a family, if you have young kids, usually for kids, they do give prizes. So kind of an incentive, so a lot of fun. It helps with the reading retention, and I guess kind of they call it like the dry spell over the summer when it comes to learning. It helps bridge that gap because kids are out of school for several months. So by reading, it'll help them to continue to build vocabulary, reading comprehension, retention, all of those types of things. So that's my little plug, my little PSA. Libraries will also do local programming, so you can do a lot of free summer activities at your local library with your kids, with kids that you're nannying, with your nieces and nephews, your grandkids, whoever. It's just a really fun time. So that's my reading plan for June, is to at least sign up for my summer reading challenge at my local library. And then the second thing that I have on deck for June, which I'm very excited about, is I recently became a channel member over at Mama Needs to Read Romance, who is B, and I have just really enjoyed her videos. And she is doing a kind of like a summer reading book club, where each week and each month it's different destinations. So it's kind of like you get to armchair travel. And so we don't do a lot of big trips over the summer. We do a little few like weekend trips, day trips, little activities, but we don't typically do like a big vacation over the summer. So this is going to be a lot of fun for me because I can armchair travel. So I can stay in my comfy chair and read books set in these exotic locations, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. So you're going to see that reflected in my TBR when I go over that. But for June, those are the two big things that I have on deck. All right, let's dive into my June TBR. The first book is going to be Cold Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas. This is, well, first, let me show you the step back because I do have the step back and it is so pretty. It's very springtime to me, which obviously spring is going to come to an end in June, but still very pretty. I love the pink contrast with the green. Super pretty. There is a group of booktubers who do a historical romance backlist or read along, and they've been doing the Hathaway series, but by the time I tuned in, it was halfway through, and so I'm not going to start a series halfway through, but this is the Ravenels. This is the first book in the Ravenels series, and I actually bought this whole series used online, gosh, I don't know, not that many years ago, 4 years ago probably, and it's been sitting on my shelves ever since, so I thought this would be a good time for me to dive into it. This book is about, I guess the Ravenels are the male main characters. I thought they were the female main characters, but that's okay. It is about Devon Ravenel, London's most wickedly charming rake. He has inherited an earldom, and then when he goes to the estate, he runs into a lot of obstacles, and apparently the late Earl's sisters still live at that house, the earldom that he inherits. His love interest is one of the sisters, so it's a story about how their love story unfolds. The next book is 9 Rules to Break While Romancing a Rake by Sarah MacLean, and this is the book club pick for Tea and Biscuits Historical Romance Book Club on BookTube. And this is the original cover, but it does have a step back. So again, super pretty. And this is my first time participating in this book club, but I have watched their videos for a few months now, and I'm excited. It's funny because I recently bought this book at a used library sale, and I came home and I put it on my bookshelf and I realized I already had it. So now I have 2 copies of this. But this one I'm going to use because it has the step back. The other one does not have the step back. So that's my reasoning for picking this one. But I am excited for it. This book is about a young society lady who has kind of done everything by the books and wants to have fun. And so she has all of these things that she wants to do. You know, she wants to go out and dance and party and all of these types of things, but she needs, you know, an escort, a partner. So this rake comes in and basically allows her to like work off her list of things that she wants to do. And of course they end up falling for each other. But you know, he's a rake, she's from society. So we'll see what happens. They'll get together, but we'll see what happens along the way. Okay, my next book is Onyx Storm. This is the 3rd book in the Imperium series, or the Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros. I did have this book on my TBR back in April, and I didn't get to it. I bought the book when it came out in January, but it's romantasy, but it's pretty heavy fantasy for me, and it's a little dark, and so usually in the winter months I can't do darker reads. But my friend recently started this series and she read the first 2 books in like 2 weeks. So she said she was interested in reading the 3rd book with me. So I checked that book out from Libby because the physical book is really big and sometimes uncomfortable to hold. So I'll have that on my Kindle, which will be nice. And I'm not sold that I want to read it this month, but I do know I want to get to it because I want to know what happens next. But I think that having someone to read it with might push me over the edge to actually pick it up and read it. So we'll see, but that one is on my list. And because I have the Libby hold, I kind of have like a countdown because it is due back in 2.5 weeks now because I just borrowed it a few days ago. So that's on my TBR, and I actually have several books on my Libby, so we're going to go through the rest of those next. And the next one is What Happens in Amsterdam by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is a rom-com. I have read her books before and I have enjoyed them. I've read 2 of her books previously. I haven't read her books in a couple of years, so I am excited to get back into her writing style. This book is set in Amsterdam, so again, a lot of fun, armchair travel. And this is a marriage of convenience and a second chance romance, I believe. So the cover is beautiful. I love the cover, obsessed with it, and it really just speaks to me. So I think I am going to read that one. I feel like I can get through it pretty quickly, but we'll see. The next book, though, is one that I mentioned in my library book haul, and it is She Really Going Out With Him by Sophie Cousins. I have read several Sophie Cousins books, and I'm excited for this one. I have been hearing really good things about it. I believe it is closed door, but it just seems really cute. It's kind of like a take on How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. So I just feel like it's finally speaking to me. Like, I do want to read it this month. I mean, obviously it's been speaking to me because I checked it out from my library, but I just have this, it just kind of feels like a lighthearted summer read. So it's really just feeling like the right time to read this one. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, the next book on my list is When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. And this series was put on my radar. I was watching an author interview on Bee's channel, and I'm going to read to you from Goodreads what the synopsis is about, but it's like a time travel series, historical fiction. I think it's technically classified as Christian fiction as well. But this story is about Libby, and she lives one life in 1774 colonial Williamsburg and the other life in 1914 Gilded Age New York City. Okay, first of all, I really like Williamsburg. I grew up going there as a kid, and I think that that'll be a lot of fun. I've never read a book set in colonial Williamsburg. So she basically gets to live these 2 lives for several years, I guess her whole life. She's a teenager, but on her 21st birthday, she has to choose one path and forfeit the other. So she has to choose which life she wants. And I think in both lives, in one, in colonial Williamsburg, she has a love. And in the Gilded timeline, she's like working on women's suffrage and she's doing things in both lives that she is passionate about, I guess is what you could say. And she has to choose one. So I don't even know, like, what do you do with that? You know what I mean? I just don't even know where that story is going to go. But it's wild sounding, and this is a series. So every book is kind of set in the same universe, and I think there's like 4 or 5 now, but I feel like if I like this, then I'm going to want to continue reading the series, because each book is about a different character and a different time period. So they're not all, revolutionary Williamsburg and Gilded Age New York City. So I think that'll just be a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure my library has the series on Libby. But yeah, there's currently a wait, and I'm pretty sure that my hold is going to become available in June. So this is going to be a priority book for me to read. Okay, and the last books on my TBR are going to be associated with the summer reading book club that I am a part of. So I mentioned it earlier, and we are doing in June the Mediterranean. So each week is a different region in the Mediterranean. So we've got Greece, France, Spain, and Italy. Okay, now she does have some books that she recommends for each destination, and I have a few of those on my TBR, but I'm also very curious if you guys have any books, romance, cozy mystery, historical fiction, women's fiction, contemporary fiction, that are set in these locations that you would want me to read. Please let me know, because I think it would be a lot of fun to take one of your recommendations and use it for this challenge. So the first book that I have selected is Greek Secret by Francesca Catlow. This book is on Kindle Unlimited. It was released, I think, a month ago. It's a fairly new release, but first of all, the cover is so pretty. I love the cover. And this book is set on the island of Corfu in Greece. It is touted as a perfect romantic getaway. So it says, when Ruby arrives in Corfu, she's greeted by a sparkling sea, hot sand, and a new future. She's going to be learning her Aunt Hazel's trade of taverna, and she's currently not going to be distracted by her handsome colleague, no matter how much they're drawn together. But getting close apparently brings up some things in her past and secrets that she's been holding back. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I would say women's fiction meets romance is the vibe that I'm getting. I don't know, it just seems like a really good read for the Greek setting, and that's the one that's on my radar, but I can be persuaded. So if you have a recommendation, let me know. Okay, the next destination is Italy, and this is the recommendation that Bea gave. It is Murder in Tuscany by T.A. Williams. This is a cozy mystery that is on Kindle Unlimited, and I read a cozy mystery last year that was set in Italy, and I really enjoyed it. So I thought it would be fun to kind of have that setting again. This book is obviously set in Tuscany, hence the title, but it is the first in a new series, so I think that'll be good too. I won't be dropped into a world that I'm unfamiliar with. I mean, I will be, but I won't be out of the loop because everyone is being dropped into the world because it's the first book in a series. So this one I think is kind of, what do they call it? Like a locked room mystery. So it's set at like a retreat center, I think, and there's 11 possible suspects. So that's kind of cool as well, but it looks like, interesting. Okay. So it's, the setting is in the Tuscan Hills at a villa, and it is the home to a renowned crime writer who has a creative writing course. So I'm thinking that it's going to be potential writers who go to this course, and the author winds up dead, and then the whole investigation is going to be around who did it. There is a dog on the cover, so of course you gotta have a little furry creature in your cozy mysteries. But yeah, I just feel like that's fun. I haven't read like a locked room mystery in a while. I think I read one in December of last year, so it's been about 6 months. And yeah, I think this one sounds good. Next up, I have the Paris Library for our France location. This is historical fiction. This book is by Jeanette Charles, and it is a World War II historical fiction, dual timelines, Paris 1939 and Montana 1983. So again, dual timeline, I feel like that's really popular when it comes to World War II historical fiction, so we'll see. But it says that it's an unforgettable story of romance, friendship, and family, and the power of literature to bring us back together. It says a powerful novel that explores the consequences of our choices and the relationships that make us who we are, family, friends, and favorite authors. The Paris Library shows that extraordinary heroism can sometimes be found in the quietest of places. Ooh, I do like that summary. That sounds good. I mean, all of these books sound good, obviously, because they're on my TBR, but yeah, it was a Goodreads Choice winner in 2021. How cool. So that wraps up the books that are on my June TBR. I don't have a book for the Spain location, so that is one where I need a recommendation, so please send one my way. But I am curious which books are on your TBR for the month of June. If there's any new releases you're excited about, any library holds that might be coming in and available for you to read this month. Let me know if you are participating in your library's local summer reading challenge. And until next time, you can like, comment, or subscribe. I appreciate you being here. If you want to let me know you were here and watch the whole video, but you don't necessarily want to leave a big comment, you can use a book emoji and drop that in the comments, and that way I'll know you were here. And I hope you're reading a really good book. I will talk with you all soon. Bye.